All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. What a day on BBAI. I think it's worth at least another quick look, so I'll start the video there. And then I really want to take a look at the quant sector, all right? I think I don't even need to say I know. Quantum has been lagging a little bit, and I think the easy thing to say is maybe BBAI is stealing all that volume, right? So volume's been the issue. You can see with Regard, and I'll look at a couple others on these opening thoughts, right? But we're missing that average line by a lot. The days we're over it, it quickly goes away. The days we're over it, it kind of fizzles. That's been the last good kind of climb, and that was early May, right? We're knocking on the door of July. So Regati has definitely been missing the volume, right? This at one point, let's go back a little bit. This was BBAI level volume, right? Where we're now living in this 300, 200 realm here. Regati was there not that long ago, right? So you heard me say it on Soundhound when you were the crown, the volume king, volume queen for the ladies out there. When you lose that crown, bad things happen. Realistically, this hasn't been horrible, right? When you're going to go from up here in the 300 millions all the way down to basically 30, right? 40, you're giving away 80, 90% of the volume, right? What I would expect from that really is this, right? Again, we were in the 150, 200s. We basically came down. Today was a good day. Soundhound's worth looking at right now, but we basically come down to the 20s, 30s. That's what it should do. Regati held. And that's an interesting line of strength, and that really stresses the importance of that golden line right there, right? When we look at QBTS, I think pretty much the exact same story, right? What I'm seeing first is down here. You know I always start up here, but volume's the thing. We're missing the line. We're missing the line. We're missing the line. This thing was destroying the line not that long ago, and we saw the love that came with it, right? So the fact that volume hasn't been great, and arguably this thing's been going up pretty well, like that's an interesting thing. Imagine what'll happen if good volume comes, right? QSI is another one. This thing's actually over the moving averages. Again, just missing the volume and just can't go up, right? QUBT, I think, is another one. Again, this is a really good setup, and that's why I think these are worth looking at, right? There's some interesting setups here. We're just missing a little bit of volume. And hey, maybe with BBAI, I know it's still going and going, but one thing I'm gonna call out, excuse me, a lot of the volume went away today, actually. Like it's kind of been a little bit of the normal. There's a lot of volume early and then it kind of goes away. A lot of volume early and then it kind of goes away. I don't really like today's volume because I don't want to use the word pump and dump. That's definitely not the phrase here, right? But good volume to go away volume is never a thing I want to see. Obviously, it happened right here too, and hey, it quickly survived, right? But spacing between the lines is something I'll talk about these details shortly, right? But my point is, I don't know if this is an interesting signal that maybe the volume's going to kind of cool down just a little bit. Again, I'm loving these two. I am still loving this up here. There's going to be way more good than bad. But maybe this volume starts to go into quant, and I think that's going to be a little bit of the thought as we get into those quant tickers, all right? Otherwise, BBAI, I mean, we basically tested this line, and this is the line that's nice because you can see how high up the next one is, and we'll talk about my thoughts on that, right? So, cool, lovely. Before we do go any further, though, and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it, all right? So, look, if you watched the video over the weekend, I think it was on Saturday, I feel like I spent almost 10 minutes talking about volume. I'm going to control my like nerd side because I'm telling you, I love this stuff way too much. But look at how sustained that volume has been. And today's stays with the slope. It stays with the beauty, right? I started back here. It really has just been sensational the last, what, 7 trading days? I mean, that's as textbook as it gets, and you can see the takeoff. When you're over all five, you fly, and man, it feels like the flying is just starting, right? So we had a golden cross on the 20 right there. The 20 went over the 100. That's a beautiful thing. Really loving this MACD and RSI down here. But again, volume is king, right? Volume is queen. And when you're doing better volume than the last trading day, let alone the fact that all of these days are now basically pushing all-time high volume ever, right? We've never had more volume than we had on Friday the 27th until we had as much volume as we had today, right? So you're going from all-time high volume to all-time high volume. What are you supposed to do except go up, right? The question's really going to be how much is that going to sustain? Look, I'm here guessing, right? I use that word very. I have no crystal ball, right? One thing that I did see was just on this lower time frame, right? Volume was good, volume kind of drops out, and really the last kind of couple hours didn't end well, and really there were more bad volume hours than good, right? There were 3 green ones and 4 red ones, right? As you look at the other days, it's not really that substantial. This was kind of the last time it happened, right here on the 25th, right here. Let's take a look on which candle was the 25th. That was this one right here, right? So, I'm not by any means saying that this candle is going to come. That's not the thought, right? And hey, I for sure see it going up a little bit after hours, right? But I think that volume right there is just at least something to call out. Look, otherwise, what we're basically looking for, I'm cool with that number. What I would love is 339 million shares, right? Even just give me 1 million more. If we keep getting more and more volume, I mean, that's incredible, and nothing was going to stop this thing, right? I think I'm really good with like 200, let's call it 270 million shares. So if I want 270 million shares in a 7 hour trading day, we basically need around 40 million shares. You can see the number's 38 million, right? 38 and a half. But give me 40 million shares that first hour, give me 80 million shares that second hour. All of a sudden, I'm going to start thinking to myself, volume's looking good. If it's just a little bit higher, if we can get close to 50 million shares, that'll give us that 350 million shares. And again, another all-time high volume, right? So I think it's going to be really important to look at volume. Otherwise, look, MACD is very nice. Diverging just means 2 lines going away from each other. We want green to diverge up. Green is good, right? So green is going up. This one's staying a little bit flat. I love that. You can see it even more when I zoom in. Look, 80 is a high RSI number. You always hear me say that every video, every ticker. I think I am liking this MACD a little bit more, but hey, you gotta at least be a little bit cautious of that 80 number, all right? So, where's the weekly at? Nice, that's still a good weekly. It's getting towards the 80. It is getting towards the 80, right? But look, today was only one day, right? We're already at this number, right? So give me a sec. 338 times 5. If we can do this 4 more times, we will actually get more than the, oh wait, we were up here. It was 1.3 billion. This one would be 1 point almost 7, right? So far weekly volume's doing well. I think at the very minimum we're at least set up really well to hit this. Obviously we might not get as much volume, and I'm kind of making assumptions of the next couple days, right? But if we basically double what we did today over the next 4 days, we will be in some amazing weekly volume territory if we can get around 700 million shares, right? And again, like I said, on this single day, right? We still got, oh wait, Friday is a holiday, so it's only a 4 day week. Keep that in mind. The candle doesn't care about that, right? So glad I caught myself there. But yeah, I like the setup on the volume down here. Let's talk lines, okay? If this was going to come down, I think I would use basically 650. I'm clicking at $6.52, but I think 650 is my line down. If we lose 650, okay, I don't know how much lower it will go, because that's 660, maybe 630. What are you right here? That's 640. I think that gives me at least a little bit more confidence in that 650. If we lose 650, it kind of looks like we're only going to go down to like 640, 630. It basically kind of says there is some good strength in this candle, right? As I looked in the lower frames, right? If we were to lose 630, let's use 620. If we were to lose 620, I think that's where the concern's going to come. All right. I think the one good thing to note is, again, today was a gap up. That just means that this eight's going to keep going, a little bit more exponentially up, right? So eight's going to keep going up. Again, I don't know the math behind these lines. I'm just kind of guessing the slopes, right? But it'll probably get to this 550 around tomorrow. Maybe even by Thursday, it'll get itself around around $6, and that would make me feel a lot more comfortable, right? Right now, there's a little bit too far a drop down to the 8, but like I said, I kind of like these lower indicators. There's some strengths well before we have to worry about that 620 number. But one more time, let's not lose 650. Okay, that could be a good bounce point and maybe a reset place for the RSI. If we lose 650, I think $6.30 should be the lowest it goes. And then, like I said, if we lose that number, that's where I would start to worry a bit, okay? And really, overall, I'm curious, is that what stopped us? Look at that. I should have put my line down here. Whatever. It's okay. I don't care about perfect. But yeah, we basically got stopped by the bottom of that candle right there, right? So get over this line, get over that $7 line, and oh my goodness, there's not a lot stopping this, right? Maybe, let me just zoom out just a little bit. And then what? Sorry, I'm looking and thinking. Okay, so I probably said this on the last video too. This line, this $7 line, we haven't really been over it well since 2022, probably around here, since the middle or early 2022, right? There were a couple candles here, but good candle, no confirmation, good candle, no confirmation, good candle, no confirmation, down, right? So obviously it happened, and I'm glad we're attacking it again. But yo, that's a tough 7 line, and that's a high RSI. I could see us struggling here, coming down maybe around 630 is where the 8 moving average and the tickers will catch. Because even as I saw this climb, like there are moments where we're climbing and losing the 8 and coming to the 20 and losing the 8. It's not like it's like a beautiful bounce, right? So I could maybe see something, but again, for now, it shouldn't be much to worry about until we go under, unless we go under 620. You gotta love this thing. If this thing goes over 7, there's probably not a lot stopping it from going to 850. And that right there is a 20% move right there, right? You're basically adding $1.40, $1.50 on a $7 stock right there, right? Every 70 cents is 10%. So, damn, I already went 13 minutes on BBAI. I'm slightly obsessed with this ticker. All right, I'm doing my very best to be impartial. Right? There's so many fanboy and fangirl videos out there, and they're going to say nothing but good, right? We're here looking at both sides, making a plan for both sides, but in the end, just remember this, all right? Amazing things happen when the indices are over all the moving averages and they're all doing the same thing. NASDAQ looks exactly like the S&P 500, which looks exactly like the Dow Jones, and all of them are over all the moving averages on the daily. And this thing's finally trying to do it on the weekly, this being the Dow Jones, and you can see S&P 500 and NASDAQ have been there already for a bit now, right? So when they all look good on the daily, that's a good thing. When they all look good on the weekly, that's a great thing. Just have a plan for both sides, all right? That's the only thing I'm here to say on every ticker. But oh, lovely things. I think my cat wants to go out. We're gonna end it with get out of here. Gotta say bye to the people. All right, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. All right, I do want to look at the quant tickers here, all right? And I think my plan is basically to chapter them all together, because really, I think there's a reason to start paying attention to these, all right? And like I said, look, I don't know if BBAI is going to keep bringing in all-time high volume. It's a tough thing to do, but believe me, it's doable, right? The question might be, where is the volume going to go if it doesn't come back there? this is setting up well, and this has been missing volume for a bit, and it wasn't that long ago when the whole sector was just living in volume, right? So real quick, if you can subscribe, if you can share, it does wonders with the algorithms. But look, Rigotti with a nice candle over all five moving averages, and really the first good candle over the 20 moving average. I mean, arguably since we lost it right here in late May, right? But yeah, that's been a tough orange little line right there, and that's a decent attempt right there, right? When we look at QBT, no, not this one, sorry, QUBT, that's the same thing I'm seeing here, right? This has actually been a little bit prettier. It's been going up and away from the moving averages, and it kind of seems like it wants to keep doing it, right? But that's a nice bounce on the 20. I'm seeing a good candle trying to get over all the moving averages. Nice MACD and RSI right here. I know red is over green, but I'll take the positive. And yeah, hopefully the RSI resets, right? So QS has been the one that crushed it on this candle, right? This thing's at a very interesting place because look, if I was going to draw a 50% candle, it's basically where that doji candle is right now, right? So, right, I drew half a line roughly at half of this thing. That's give or take a couple pennies away from where we close right now, right? So, this is an important day going into tomorrow, right? Generally, look, it's a 7 hour trading day. And the thing opens and closes basically what, 40 cents, 50 cents away? Like, get out of here. You're not going to only move 50 cents in a day. Like, people thought it should have flown. Some people thought it should have not. They basically say, you know what? I don't know. Let's just wait till tomorrow to see what happens, right? So, this is a big, big candle on a big, big line. And really, we should see a good, big answer tomorrow, right? So, if this thing starts to creep into like, I mean, the safest look, you can see what stopped it. It was almost 50% of the red candle. I never used the red candles for that, but I could see that stopping it a little bit. Yeah, I really feel like the answer is 680. That's probably a little risky going into today's doji. No, look, on the hourly, the 20 moving average is at 690. We got to get into 695. 692, 693. I'm okay with that. Give me 692, 693. I'm going to start to believe that we're actually going to maybe go up to 670. All right. I think we're going to start going up. Otherwise, if we lose this 661 line, there's not a lot stopping it from coming all the way down here at like 570. And realistically, that's probably where the eight moving average is going to open tomorrow, maybe around a couple cents higher, right? But yeah, there's literally nothing in between down here and basically right here, except a couple red, green pops, right? So yeah, we cannot lose that line. Get me over 690, and this one's solid. Let's take a better look at QBTS. Not the prettiest, not the prettiest one, right? Like I would have loved it to not lose the 20 right here, to use it as a bounce point up. And clearly, we've just been struggling with the eight moving average, right? I say it all the time. When this line's your friend, I mean, it's the best friend a stock can have. You just bounce on it and just bounce and bounce and bounce and up and up and up. And it's the best friend a stock can have. Right now, it's the complete opposite. Right now, it's the girlfriend, the wife, the boyfriend, the whatever. It's just angry at you, and you can't get back on the good side, right? So we really need to get back over that eight moving average. That's probably the safest line. That's probably it right there at 15.15. If you can get over 15.15, I think there's a real good shot at 16. If this breaks 16, if this thing can get into 16.30, I love it. Because from there, it should really quickly go to like 17.80, give or take. And then hopefully from there, retest some 20 right there. So I think this one's a little bit behind on those other ones. But again, if the common theme also just is volume. And I said, this thing literally was at 300 million, what BBAI is right now, only a month ago, right? Like this knows what to do when volume comes. Volume hasn't been anywhere near just the average expectation for the entirety of June, right? We've only been, this line is the average. It's the C student in a classroom, right? We've basically been living at C minus or under, except for these 2 days where we were like able to get, right? You get what I'm saying, right? So just give me the volume and the stock will do the rest with it, right? So, A couple better ones than others, right? But I think again, like I said, QSI. Did I look at QSI? This is the last one, I think. QSI, look, this thing is over all the moving averages, and this thing is holding that 8 and the 20, and it is trying to escape. But man, it looks like this 190 line is actually a tough line right there, right? But there is such a big red, green, 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 red, 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 nothing, 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 right? So, um, oh man, even this, look how far back. The last time we were over that 190 really well was back here in 23, right? Almost literally this time right now, almost the July time frame in 2023, right? So a good full 2 years outside of these little anomalies, this thing that really didn't confirm well, right? This should have done better, right? But that's a good candle, that's a doji, that's a good candle, that's a doji, and then we basically lost that line till now, right? So 190 is a tough line. I think it makes sense why we're struggling with this, but hey, 8 and the 20 are going up. The thing just needs a little bit better volume. That's the story here, right? So if BBAI comes back with all-time high volume, don't look at these quant stocks. Keep your focus there and do your thing, right? If it's gonna go, the question's gonna start being where, and that's what we're here trying to, I use the word guess, right? We're just educated people taking guesses, right? And there's no crystal ball here, right? So let me know your thoughts, let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so much.